Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma yafeh hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
We turn now to page 24 and join together in singing Shalom Aleichem.
We're actually going to turn to page 344.
It's the same thing.
I know, we forgot to put it on the outline.
The words are the same, though.
They are not. Shir Chadash, page 344.
Oh, well, that's a whole different song.
Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru to God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash. Sing unto God a new song.
Now we turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem.
And this is a version by Daphne Rosenberg that I've been playing every month, so hopefully it's starting to sound a little familiar. Shalom Aleichem, Alechei Hashaveh, Mahalachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, malchei hashalom. Mahalachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, malchei hashalom. Mahalachei Elyon. מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא צאתכם לשלום מלכי השלום מלכי עליון מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא
We turn back now a couple of pages to pages 20 and 21 as we join together in L'Chadodi. When we reach the final verse, we invite everyone to rise in body or spirit to greet the Sabbath bride. For now, we begin on the top of page 20.
L'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך ומאורי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונה עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה l'Chadodi לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
Page 22. Shir L'Yom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי אסון ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך אענה. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, לאור עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
On 26 or 144, we continue with a Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach, ve'alam u'amei amaya, yitbarach, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpar, v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha,
Richu.
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma.
V'yimeru.
Amen.
We invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we continue with the Baruch Hu on the next page. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Day and night, show us the way, teaching us to number our days. When we rise and when we lie down, Ahavat Olam, Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. פיכם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגד יומם ולילה. Day and night show us the way, teaching us to number our days, when we rise and when we lie down. Ahavat olam, Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta.
Baruch Ata Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet.
May be seated. On page 41, we join together. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. On the facing page.
So this is going to be Micha Mocha, done to Bob Marley's Redemption Song, to prepare us all for next week's Folk Shabbat. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele nora tehilot osefele. Won't you help me sing this song of freedom? It's all I ever had. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeli anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Won't you help me sing this song of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption song, redemption song, redemption.
Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. On page 43, we join together. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haparei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'atzot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'atzot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Beni Uvein B'nei Yisrael Odi Le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai et HaShamayim ve'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Uvayom Hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam Levitolam.
In just a moment, we'll rise for the Amidah, the Tefillah. And as we look around the sanctuary tonight, this is the joy of daylight savings time having come back. There's light in the windows, and the color is shining again. And those of you who are at home, we can see some of the color in the windows in your houses, so it's good to see that in your places too. So take a moment as you rise in body or in spirit to take in the color and the joy of the light that's here that we celebrate Shabbat with. Take a look around behind you at the Shabbat candles that have been lit, and together we'll join together in prayer.
Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi, Hilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi, Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, u'mevin Geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר משיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיים אותו ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בן גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. We take a few moments now to continue with the Amidah and offer our private prayers. When you have finished with your prayers, you may be seated.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי וגואלי
We pause now for prayers for healing, prayers for those in our congregation, in our communities, those in our extended family, but also all of those throughout the world needing healing on this Shabbat. We know in a time of war that there are countless people suffering, and so we pray for all of them. May they find shelter, may they find peace, and may the conflict come to an end soon. May those who continue to fight for a vaccine and fight to cure the world from a virus continue their noble work. May they be guided with courage and compassion and strength. As a congregation this Shabbat, we especially pray for Jack Glasser, Judy Moyer, Susan Horn, Jerry Ann Morgan, Levia Bat Chaim, Stan Savrin, Jerry Spargel, Shirley Spargel, Baruch Benjamin Ben Chaya, Bob S., John, Katie, Judith, Richard, Eve, Ruth Goldman, Alan Wolk, George Gurneth, Kathy Lowry, Shirley Goldstein, Kate Trouth, Stan W., Stan Cardoza, Chuck Mahan, Melissa Ann Myers, Ruth Dudley Carr, Judith Kovach, Isaac Ruiz. And online we add the names Laura Dully, Michelle and Garth Clark, Mammy Gordon, Sheila Ostro. We pray for all of them. May they all return to us speedily and completely, healed in body and in spirit. We join together now in the words of the Mishaberach prayer, found on page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, healer of the sick. And now a few moments to share good news, birthdays, celebrations. Who's got something good to share? Lizzie, you got something good to share, or Frank has something good to share? Tell Frank what it is first. Tell Frank. Frank, what's your good news? Let's start there.
Okay. Carol and I just returned from Atlanta where we celebrated our granddaughter's 2nd birthday and our grandson's 12th birthday.
Very nice. Mazel tov.
I'm having. I feel like something.
What's the good news, Lizzie? Did you get prizes at school today?
I got surprises from school.
Very nice. Who else has something good? Marcy, I read on Facebook you had good stuff this week. Come on, if you can put it on Facebook, you can share it in your synagogue.
I can share it in my synagogue. Matthew has good news too.
Good.
I started a club in my school.
Cool.
We're building the school in Minecraft.
Very cool.
I won my first jury trial yesterday as second chair with my co-counsel, so that was very
Nice.
exciting.
Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Who else has something good to share?
I'll share. I turned a year older last week.
Happy birthday.
And a good friend of mine and colleague of mine at work just had another baby on the same day as her older son's birthday.
Wow.
So exact same day. 4 kids. Well, lucky mom, just one birthday party.
All 4 kids on the same day?
2 kids on the same day.
2 kids on the same
Yeah,
day.
I think she's done.
We sang for you last week. Could you hear it? or
I
feel
heard.
it?
I know, I heard. It sounded beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
were in key and everything.
Achy.
Nobody else has anything good to celebrate?
Mike shares that he and Rachel are spending Shabbat with his mother-in-law in California.
Tell them it's warmer here than it is there.
It was my
That's a lie.
birthday
I
last
think
week,
he just
too.
heard you.
It's your birthday.
My birthday last week, too.
We sang to you too. Did you hear us?
Yes.
Your sister didn't sing though. I think you should get her to sing later for you at home.
Yeah.
John Schiller's is going to be something about Derek Jeter making it into the Hall of Fame. I know it.
No, just had a birthday also just before Mimi's, and just got back from Boston. We just had another grandchild.
Very nice. Mazel tov. Named Derek Jeter?
After my great-grandfather,
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter.
I knew there was something about your family. They told me when I first was interviewing here, wait till you meet the Schiller family. There's this whole history. Who else has something good to share? Well, then let's sing.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimromav, hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael.
One other bit of good news is that in March, we mark the 5th anniversary of Drew Barkley's coming to Temple Sinai. So it has been 5 years since Drew has been here. It only feels like 6 months to me, but... And so to celebrate that, it's my pleasure to welcome Drew to the Bema to teach us a little bit this evening. There's a mic up there for you. There's a mic up.
I feel like a bar mitzvah up here tonight. So, hello, my friends. Shalom, everybody on Zoom. This past February 27th, I did celebrate 5 years here at Temple Sinai as your executive director. And I have been working as an executive director for 16 years. In all that time, I've never spoken from the Bema. I've never delivered a Shabbat sermon. Few executive directors have. Most normally, we're trying to be invisible, cringing in the shadows, hoping that everything is going well. But thanks to Rabbi Feldman, I'm standing here tonight. But not being a rabbi and not being used to writing and delivering sermons, this will be less of a sermon and more of a reality op-ed of my thoughts and opinions after doing this for a living for 16 years. And I also apologize, I'm not a great extemporaneous speaker, so if I'm looking down to keep track of where I am, thank you for understanding. Anyways, before I get to what I want to teach you about 16 years of doing this, before I get to that, I want to apologize to everyone who has ever found the building too hot, too cold, who thinks our coffee is lousy, for empty toilet paper and soap dispensers. We don't do that intentionally. And as much as this is standard executive director humor, in fact, we do take these things really seriously. Well, maybe not so much about the coffee. And after 5 years of being here, I'm still getting used to living in Steelertown. I am from Cleveland, as most of you know, home of the despised Browns, and I thank the board for hiring me anyway. So, anyways, I want to share some things I've learned in my 16 years of doing this for a living. As we approach Passover, it is time again to tell the Exodus story, the story of a journey. How many of you on your own journey have felt just like the Jews wandering in the desert in the Exodus? How many of you have been faced with the trauma of being yanked suddenly from an existence and life you knew and be forced to journey into the unknown? How many of you were enjoying balance in your lives when out of the blue the world changed? Normality vanishes. The death of a loved one, sudden or not sudden. 9/11, Tree of Life, COVID, Pearl Harbor, Vietnam, and even relocating from Syracuse to Pittsburgh. It takes but one unexpected event to spin us into a new reality. It takes but one a new set of life circumstances that we may not understand, but that we must find the courage to master. And sometimes the new normal is not evident at all. This happened to me in 2002. The events of 9/11 directly led to the collapse of my business and then a divorce. I was living in Phoenix. I lost my job, my income, my health care, to a large degree, my self-esteem, and my family relations all changed. It led to nearly 3 years of doing odd jobs, like cooking in a restaurant, private chefing, selling mattresses. And I'd go to bed at night knowing that this was a journey and that there would be a destination, but the journey was open-ended. I had no idea where this was going. I didn't know where I was journeying to, where it would lead me to, and it doesn't say so in the Torah. But I imagine that many of the Jews wandering in the desert with Moses must have felt the same way. This is not like a journey where you get on an airplane and know where it will land. I couldn't have felt more like I was wandering in the desert. Those 3 years felt like 40 years to me. And ironically, and thankfully, the one constant I had in my life during those years was my synagogue membership affiliation at Temple Chai in Phoenix. It was during that painful journey that I began attending Friday night services and actually listening and paying attention. Right? We're here for a reason. It was by being involved at Temple Chai as a volunteer that I first found the value of a congregational community. It was there that I began to understand the sacred and the holy and found the power of being. I got involved at Temple Chai. I served on the finance committee, and I served as an advisor to their Shalom Center, a place that created healing programming throughout the year. The executive director at Temple Chai in Phoenix was Eileen Singer. Again, ironically, she's from Pittsburgh. She used to work at Beth Shalom. Some of you may know her or of her. I spoke to Eileen about what was going on in my life, and she steered me to this profession. When I started my executive director career in 2006 at Temple Bethel in Santa Cruz, California, where the synagogue was about a half a mile from Monterey Bay as the crow flies, I had no idea what I was doing. All I knew was that I wanted to find personal healing through service. I thought I would be their general business manager. The typical executive director job description, in case you don't know, some of us joke that it's one word, which is everything, but it's usually 4 or 5 pages long and includes, in no particular order, clergy support, cemetery management, security, technology, the website, the budget, billing, accounting, membership, the building, snow removal, digital and print marketing and communications, advertising, landscaping, heating and cooling, human resources, programming, board and executive committee support, and of course, coffee. But that's just a list of duties to keep the place running. Over the years, I learned that this laundry list is secondary to what the job is really about. The job is really about creating and supporting a beautiful, life-giving and affirming community of people. The job is about being heart to heart and trying to achieve an I-thou relationship. My job is about the power of community. I'm charged with the temple oasis, a safe place, a community where each person finds respite during their courageous journey. Where each person in the community. So managing the laundry list well helps to keep the community together, connected and informed. And with apologies to those of you who have heard much of this before, and I know there are many of you who have, here is my top 10 list after 16 years of what I've learned about creating an oasis for community. Some of these you may find a little humorous, some of them not so humorous, and some of them really minutia. But I assure you that every item is very, very important. So in no particular order. 1, find the sacred and holiness in everyone. And I do mean everyone. We must always remember that everyone in our community is here for a reason. Our job is to understand each person's reason, to learn about it, and to honor it. We always need to be aware of avoiding stereotyping and dismissing people. It takes time, but finding each person's sacredness makes us all better people and makes our community unique and special. People do mean well. Number 2, be on time. Excellent organizations run on time. Being on time shows dedication to the community. Start programs, meetings, and services on time. Be respectful. People have schedules, especially in today's multi-access hybrid world. People tuning in from the internet need to know they've found the right place at the right time. And the only way that they know that is if you activate the link on time. Being on time is saying you are important to our congregants and guests. Number 3, just right over here. Yard-side plaques in the plaque area are like visiting the cemetery for many people. Many members, including me, have loved ones buried away from Pittsburgh. New York, Cleveland, Philly, New Jersey, Florida, other places. The plaque area is an important sacred place of reflection in our oasis. Number 4, as with the memorial plaque area, if we get nothing else right, we must always get everything to do with death right. Every synagogue executive director knows this. From the spellings and the highlights to name pronunciations to donations to Shiva, honoring loved ones. These are among the most precious things that we do. We will be remembered for this, and the families will be grateful and comforted. Honoring the departed is truly a part of our oasis. Number 5, and to add to the subject of honoring loved ones, not every synagogue owns and manages its own cemetery, but we do. We have our own memorial park. The weather and changing seasons always present a challenge. If you were to go out there right now, it's not as beautiful as it will be when we clean it up for Mother's Day. The spring weather is tumultuous, and ever-changing, and it's really, we have to wait till winter ends before we begin cleaning up. More people visit Memorial Park on Mother's Day and Memorial Day than any other time of the year. Their timing of their visits makes these visitors our toughest critics. And I hold my breath the morning after Memorial Day and the morning after Mother's Day to see what feedback I may get. Happily, the last 2 years have been very quiet. Number 6, always honor and support the synagogue's women's, men's, and youth auxiliaries. In our case, that's Women of Temple Sinai, or Watts, Brotherhood, and Party, also known as the Pittsburgh Area Reformed Temple Youth. Watts is a highly organized, dedicated, ambitious, and very accomplished organization. Just as accomplished, but perhaps a little less visible, Brotherhood and Party are other critical doorways to the Temple Sinai community. And our 3 auxiliaries staff the service counter of our oasis. I wrote my NADA, it's my national organization of executive director, it's my professional group. I wrote my NADA thesis to earn my FTA, Fellow in Temple Administration, on the reasons, this is number 7, on the reasons to hire staff. We should hire staff whose personal values are the same as our organizational values. Treat the staff the same way you want the staff to treat your congregants and guests. Yes, a core tenet of successful businesses like Nordstrom, Southwest Airlines, Ritz-Carlton Hotels, Zingerman's, and Disney, to name a few, is the inherent and practiced philosophy that staff will treat customers the same way that they are treated. We must always honor our staff, support them, provide professional development, and as they say in the book, The 1-Minute Manager, catch them doing things right. I want everyone on our staff to be entrepreneurial. If one of our Shema values is innovation, that means staff must be innovative. Staff must be creative and never become stale. Number 8, this is probably the most difficult thing to do of all the things that I've learned. To be honest with clergy and lay leadership, to speak the truth, to speak up. Very often, congregants will give me feedback that they will not give to clergy. It's my job to be sure that all feedback, unfiltered, is passed on in the spirit in which is intended, but passed on. And to those of you still listening to me, if I haven't gone too long, don't be afraid to speak honestly and directly to your clergy and leadership. They want to hear from you, and I encourage you to do that. Number 9, another lesson, everything is connected to everything else in the synagogue. It's like the butterfly effect in synagogues. What we say or do and want to one person, with one person or in a program, even small things, ricochets throughout the community. Borrowing from the hospitality world, in fact, one of my favorite books about restaurants, we strive for invisible perfection, what the congregant doesn't notice. We, the staff, try to take an imaginary picture of what the room or a program should look like, what the email should look like, what the message should read like, so that the picture hurts our eyes when it's not right. We always pay attention to an extensive checklist of details, sometimes better than others, but that's our intention. When we succeed, it looks effortless. What we do is managed and controlled, but the community should have no idea that the result is not effortless. Number 10, and I think when I interviewed, I came in with this thought, and I'm leaving it for last tonight on purpose, finally. I learned this phrase from a colleague many years ago. The answer is always yes. Now, what is the question? Creating a culture of yes is extremely inclusive and empowering. Being a culture of yes is being a positive culture of possibilities. Yes is attractive. No is not. Yes invites people in to our oasis for the community. So I've learned so much more, but these are the ones that always float to the top. Each one of you who are here tonight, as well as those that are not at the service tonight, have been a healer for me and a teacher for me. And I'm doing my best to repay your kindness. Temple Sinai is an amazing place. It's a congregation of people who listen, express themselves, and learn from each other. This is a real gift, and I guarantee you, and our clergy rabbi knows, all our rabbis know, this does not happen everywhere. We should never take our beautiful and amazing Temple Sinai community for granted. We have so much to offer. Let's resist the tendency to over-critique ourselves. Join me instead in celebrating what we have achieved. Temple Sinai is a beautiful oasis within the Temple Jewish community, within the Pittsburgh Jewish community, and I'm really proud to be part of it. The opening line to a reading in Mishkan, one of the readings in Mishkan Tefillah says, "On your journey, you will come to a time of waking." And I am here with you, and I am inviting you to combine your journey with mine and to go forward together. Shabbat Shalom.
Next week? Thank you. One of the fun parts of working in the Jewish world is that we all know people in common. And Drew and I figured out all sorts of people we knew in common when we first met. What took us a little while longer to realize is that we actually studied together. There was a program that used to be run, originally it was run by the faculty of the business school, Kellogg Business School at Northwestern. And then the wife of the then dean, the late dean, broke it off and formed her own project. And Drew and I were both students in that project the same year. And realized it, and it took me a little while to come back with it, but I remember meeting him. And I could tell you where he was sitting, actually, in the auditorium. He could probably tell you who I was yapping with, because odds are good he was sitting quietly and I wasn't. Old habits don't die very quickly. But that moment learning together was a realization for me that the people in that room understood something deeper about what it meant to be in the synagogue world. And when I realized that Drew and I had been through that same process together, I realized that we were both really lucky and to have a partner who understood that and got it. And I can tell you definitively for me, and I think most of the time for Drew, at least most days, I'm extraordinarily thankful for the partners that I have, including knowing that I walk in here every day, knowing that I'm going to be working with Drew. He is an extraordinarily gifted partner. He also happens to be a great baseball fan, which makes life much more fun. Soon enough, staff meetings will begin taking place at PNC Park. Ben, if you want to join us for a staff meeting, you're welcome to. But it is a real pleasure to be able to come and work today and to call Drew my colleague and my friend. So Drew, 5 down, another 15 or so to go. We'll see. We return now to our service. We invite everyone to rise in body or spirit as we turn to page 282. We rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latei gidula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We pause now to recall those who came before us, those who gave us life, those who joined together to form this community and this congregation. As you hear the name of your loved one mentioned, we invite you to rise. We recall this week Shirley Baskin, Esther Blitz, Bernice Block, Walter Boniger, Ivan Kaplan, Libby S. Cohen, Francis Denmark, Rena Ettinger, Betty D. Fink, Laura Garfinkel, Abe Goldstein, Bert Horowitz, Ursula Infeld, Colin James, Elmer Judd, Bernard A. Kelsky, Charles Kirshner, Barney Kotler, Helen Sherman Latterman, Bernie Sonny Levine, Marvin Levitt, Fred Levitt, Etta Lutzker, Maxine C. Marcus, Dorothy Melnick, Israel Myers, Benjamin Michalevich, Samuel D. Mall, Dov Nicholsberger, Bernice Oringer, Ida Littman Porter, Lena Pratt, Monty Ritblatt, Alan Rosen, Phyllis Rosenthal, Max Roth, Ira Sadowski, Pearl Baskin Sadowski, Janice Schachter, Byron Bernard Schiller, Matilda Seltman, Sidney Small, Robert W. Smolowitz, Sam Solo, Harry R. Stein, Carol S. Weil, Fanny B. Weinberger, Shirley W. Weiss, Bernard Weiner, Sylvia Wolf. And we add to those names the names of those taken from us only in recent weeks. Rabbi Marty Weiner, Norman Lear, Yale Rosenstein, Robert J. Herbert Sr., Zelda Broslovsky, whose passing we just learned of the other day. Funeral arrangements are pending. And Perry Berkowitz. We rise as one community and join together in the words of Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei d'kudashah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Amin Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimramav, Huya Aseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May God grant comfort to all the bereaved among us, and together we say, Amen. Please be seated. A few announcements this evening. First of all, thank you to our greeters, to Philip and Marcia Baumfeld. As every week, you make us feel warm and welcomed here and at home. And so thank you. Those of you who are online, we hope that you at least got some greeting online and that you too felt welcomed. We're thrilled that you're a part of the service this evening. Tomorrow morning, we have Torah study at 8:30, services at 9:15. Tomorrow evening, the next in our film series will take place. The movie Tikkun will be shown via Zoom, followed by a discussion of the movie. I'm sorry, take that back. That's Saturday, March 26th at 7 o'clock. Tikkun is a 2015 Israeli film which explores the struggles of a young Hasidic man who begins to question his faith. That's tomorrow. That's right, that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
I'm off by a week. I'm off in other ways too, but for now, just by a week. So that is tomorrow evening. On Wednesday, we have the Parshat HaShavua class at noon, both on site and online. Cooking Like an Ashkenazi Grandmother class will take place Tuesday the 29th. It is online, and this coming week it will be gefilte fish, everything you wanted to know, even how to catch one, taught by our own Sunshine Figlio. Evening meditation with Rhonda Rosen will take place Wednesday at 6. Folk Shabbat will be next Friday evening, no fooling, on April 1st. And we look forward to celebrating with all of you. And next Saturday morning, we celebrate the Bar Mitzvah of Ari Padnos. The last day to order matzah brittle is on March 28th. If you haven't ordered yet, please do so. Nothing makes Passover more special than matzah brittle made by Watts. And on Saturday, April 9th, just after Passover, or just before Passover rather, we will celebrate with Nefesh Mountain, which is a wonderful band. They'll be performing here Saturday night. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, we invite you to do so. Brotherhood is still selling wine for Seder. For more information about that, there is information out in the Krieger entrance lobby. As you may have heard, the COVID policy is shifting, and soon we will become mask optional. We invite those who feel the need to wear a mask to continue to do so. We're going to continue to have both an oneg where one can be maskless here in the auditorium, and a masked oneg which will take place in the memorial hallway over here. So please feel free to use whichever one fits your needs best. And one of our former rabbis, Ezra Endy, is going to be in town and is going to be staying with the Schwartzes, I understand. House party at the Schwartzes, Monday night with Rabbi Endy. 7:30.
All right.
I think that's it. Saul,
All right,
thank you for being here. Thank you for
You're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
participating. We conclude
felt
this
that.
evening
With Elechem Dalibi. 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 Chasana ve'al natita lehem. Chasana ve'al natita lehem. Chasana ve'al natita lehem. Hasana v'al natita lehem. Elechem Dalibi. 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 Elechem Dalibi.
Please join me for Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta, v'yotanu kidashta, hinchal hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. And we join together for the motzi. We'll have challah out there for everyone to join with us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.